Hello, welcome back. This is James here from Shape. Today we're going to continue our tutorial, our inventory mobile app application. So what we've done so far, we've been able to complete the splash screen and the onboarding screen, and we will be going through the landing screen whereby we will be able to get to do the login screen and the sign up screen on top of this landing page or screen. So what we are doing here, basically, this is where we're going to prototype everything that we need for our login and sign up and forgot password, how user can retrieve their password. So the flow is is very simple. We're gonna have a landing page, and it's going to have a login screen and also a sign up screen. So let's get started. Now, what we've done so far here, we've done the splash screen, the onboarding screen, and let's preview this right now. Once we can go to the splash screen. The page load for a few seconds, and we can scroll and get started appears, and we can click get started. So we are on the landing page, and here what we want the user to be able to do is we want the user to have the ability of logging in and signing up and interacting with this screen so that they can start using the app from a user registration point of view. So let's go back to Azure, and let's get a rectangle widget. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to get a rectangle widget. As we go along, the design will probably change, and I'm just going to design as we go along. So let's see, make this happen, and I can give this a corner radius of 5, and I can make the line this, and I can just change this to Marvin Pro. Alright, so we have this done. The idea is I'm gonna put the username and the password, so we just need to scroll down and get a text field, and I'll make this about 50, something like that, and I'm just gonna make this like this for now. 40 looks okay, and I'm going to duplicate this. Like I said, we need to name our widget, and sometimes there are some widgets that are very important for you to name. So for example, this one, I'm going to be giving it a username txt, and I'm going to be giving this password txt, and the properties here, I'm going to be changing this to password type, and I'll just give it a password int so that the user will know what we want to enter into that. So we have username, and we're going to have that. Another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hide the border so that we can have it a little bit, but before I do that, I'm going to get a horizontal line, and I'm just going to place it here so that we have the horizontal line, and I'll make this color as well. Just duplicate this horizontal line, and I have this horizontal line, so I'm going to align it properly so that they stay where they're supposed to be. So we have this, it's there, and we have that. So I'm just going to highlight the text box itself, and I will hide the border. Why we are trying to do this is because so that the user can simply interact with it, so that we are using the material design kind of text box. Although I don't really like that style, but for the purpose of tutorial we can keep it that way for now. So we have username, and we have password. So what we're going to do, we're going to change this to Maven Pro, and I'm just going to change this as well to Maven Pro, and we have this sorted out. All right, so now that we have this done, I'll group this as well, so that we need to move this. I just move this down. Then on the login screen, I'll just maybe put an image here, and like we have here, I might just have to just increase this a little bit and give this a color of a dark color of this, and we're going to have something like this. So yeah, so what we're going to do next, we're going to have another horizontal we're gonna have another horizontal line, or I might just have to, let me do something like this. Okay, so we need the following buttons, which is I'm gonna give it the same which is 40, and I might have to make this like this, or make it a little bit like that. Yeah, so we can have that, or remove the line entirely, and I'll say login. Now once we have this login, I'll put this login here, and we can have a text which says don't have an account. So what we are trying to ask the user here, in case they don't have an account, they can just simply create an account by clicking this page. So the first this video is going to have two parts to it. The first part will be to create the login screen, and then the next part will be to create the sign up screen. The other part will be to create the forgot password, and then we will link everything together, so we have the full registration process completed. So I'll just make this create an account, and I'll just maybe change this to 14, and not bold that, and I'll just make this align. Alright, so don't have an account, and then we're going to have sign up. I'm gonna use 3 different buttons here, so we're going to have 3 different buttons, so which is gonna be sign up with email, sign up with Facebook. So I'm just gonna put here Facebook, sign up with email address, and I'll just say connect using Facebook. So what we are trying to do here, and what we need to do, is we need to get an icon for the Facebook. So I already have Font Awesome already installed on my system, so I'll just get the Facebook icon that we use for it. I'll get this one, and I'll just make this white so we can see it clearly, and I'll just reduce it to maybe 24 and align this center, and yeah, so we have this Facebook connect using Facebook, so the user can connect using Facebook, and the user can also sign up using email address. So we have that, so they will just go with this information. If they don't have an account, they can just sign up. And underneath here, we're going to have a little bit of terms and condition option. So we're just going to say terms of service. Here's the terms and conditions. Terms and conditions. Or we can have here by signing up to our app, you agree to our terms of service. So we're just trying to inform the user that once they sign up, they are accepting our terms of service, and that gives them the ability to understand what they are signing in for. And also we are going to put a link there, probably to have another section whereby they can click and see the terms of service so that they can read for themselves. I'm just gonna make this a little bit smaller, maybe 12, and we have that. Okay, so now once we have this done, I'm just gonna align this. I'll move this a bit together and group these two together for now, and we have this align, distribute. Yep, so everything is perfect. We're gonna group this. So we've done this part where the user can effectively sign up using their email address if they don't have an account, and they can log in if they already have an account. They can just log in using the app. So we can move this a little bit. What I'm gonna do here is probably make this another color here. So instead of using linear gradient, I'm just gonna change it to, maybe we can have this a little, maybe a little bit darker. I can use something like this. Alright, and we can have our thing here. So what we can do is we can, okay, so here we can have transparent background so that the user can only just see the horizontal line. They won't see the box itself. So let's make sure we have this aligned properly, and this should look okay now. So what we can do is we can give this session an heading. So what we have here is, let's ungroup this and let's make sure this two is grouped together, and then these two we can distribute vertically and we can align center, and then we can group them back again, and we can probably put this in this square. So what we have here, we can give this a shadow if we want to, or we can give the shadow and reduce the depth of it, and we can probably remove the border. Actually, let's remove the shadow and let's just remove the border for now. I still don't like how this is, so I'm gonna use a darker color so we can see this properly, and I would prefer to use this as white, and I'm just gonna change this back to black. Alright, so what we have here now, we have the login screen, and on the landing page is going to ask the user to log in, and the user can log in. Also, they can sign up with their email address and sign up using Facebook as well. So the next tutorial, what we're going to do, we're going to prototype, sign up with email address, and also we're going to simulate the connect with Facebook as well, and also if they've forgotten their password. So what we need to do before we even do that is underneath here we need to add a text which is for forgotten password. So I'll just duplicate this and change this to white, and I will just make sure correspond and say forgot your password. So if the user has forgotten their password, they can always retrieve their password by tapping on this. So we'll just add a background to this. Hello. I want background, maybe a dark background. You know, sometimes when you are working in Azure, you want not to be tempted to use color, especially when you're trying to keep your prototype at a low fidelity. So I'll just copy this and say actually let me just leave it at this, although I don't want too many buttons to look too much on the page. So we can have this. So we have here we have the username, the password, the login, and the forgot password. So if the user don't have an account, they can just create an account. What we could do, we might want to say get rid of this, and let's see if the design is gonna look okay. So we can probably change the color of this, and I think it looks a bit okay. So we could change the color of this to that, change this to white, and we could leave this at that. So what we need to do is maybe just make sure we have the design separately so that the user can actually know that these are different interaction, what they need to do. So what we need to do is we need to ungroup this back again, and I will just make this I will reduce this or leave it as it is for now. And then what we can do, we can increase this. We can give this icon or an image a shadow, and we could probably change this to 3, and we can have this. So what we can have here could be any icon of an app or something. So if we want to make the background more fancy, we could do that as well. So once we have this, we have that. So this and this, we need to align center and then group using Ctrl G, or we can just click the group menu here, and then we can align this one as well. We can distribute vertically, and we can align center, and then we group together. Then once we group this together and this together, we can now make sure everything is distributed vertically, align center. And we're not going to group now because we might still have to do some adjustment and other stuff. So I just want to try another design. Let's see if we can get maybe a shape just to make the page look a bit nicer. We can get this parallelogram. We can use that. I'm just gonna do something, like I said, Azure is not a design tool, but if you're really good at design, you can do some pretty cool stuff. So I'm just gonna do something here, I will change the font in case I want to write something. And I think let's send it back, and also let's just bring it forward once. So we have this. Now what we have here, we can bring it up. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to make sure this opacity, we can reduce it to maybe 25. You can reduce your opacity to 25, or to 25, so that we can see clearly the username and the password properly. So maybe what we need to do, we need to give this a little bit of dark color. We can make this not too dark. We can maybe make this still too dark. We could go with something, we go with something like actually, let's make this one black, and then we could see what we are doing here. And instead of using an image here, we're gonna use a placeholder. We're gonna use a placeholder. I'll just get the size of this. This is 60, 50. I'll just say 60, 60. That should be okay. I'm not sure if we can say this corner radius here. We could, so we can just make this corner radius 5, or probably let's get rid of this placeholder and let's make use of this image icon instead. So we have this, and what we have now is to do this, and we could send this back a bit. So what we are doing here, we are trying to make our design look a bit, cooler, nicer, and we could think I'll prefer the other one as it is. Yeah, maybe we could just reduce the opacity a little bit, so we could make this 10, and we could make this 10 as well. So we have this. Now what we could do, we could maybe bold this. We could bold this so that we can see it clearly. And we might want to give each of these button shadow if we want to. We could remove this x-axis and reduce the y-axis to probably 3. Okay, so what we could do is we could maybe make this a bit closer to the color. Or we have your forgot password. I'm gonna ungroup this. I don't like this design for now. This forgot password, I'm still thinking what we're going to use for that. So maybe we could use a text. Let's try a text for now. I'll say forgot password. So we could remove this, and we could say already have an account, login, and then we could bring this to front, or we could just actually let's remove this parallelogram stuff and just leave it as it is. So we have this now. So this is that, this is that, and this is this. So we can group this together, but I'll just make sure this is a little bit closer, and we could reduce this to, let's say, 13, or let's even say 12, and we could make this as well 12. So we have this done, and what we could do is we could let me make this the same size, so that what we could do, we could give this main cover background a color in itself. So we could use gradient. Let's use a gradient, and let's see how we can manipulate that. And we could say this, but the problem is that we're gonna need to change the background, this page background itself. So let's change the basic background to white, and let's see how it's gonna look. Okay, let's see what we have here. Let's make this 75, and yep, so not bad. So what we could do, we could change this color to white, and we could have this as black, and we could have this as well as full white color. Yep, and we could give this shadow if we want to as well. We could give shadow here and say shadow, and we can change this to 3, so that the image standard. So like, you know, if we are to do this in Sketch or Photoshop, it will look a little bit more fancy and more graphical, but this is actual. It's not a graphic tool, and the purpose of this tutorial is to create a functional prototype. So what we are trying to do here is just to create this prototype with our inventory mobile app, and ensure that we have everything done properly the way we want it. So what I could do is I could reduce the size a bit, and we could now align everything back together. So I'll group this together, make this a bit closer, or too far, and we can distribute this vertically, align center, and group this. We've already grouped this. I've grouped this, and we're just gonna distribute it vertically, align center, and I'm just gonna make this go a little bit down as well, so that we can have space. Also, what I'll do is I will take this up, so that we can actually have space in between our app. So what we need to do is we need to redistribute this vertically, group it, and then we need to center it into our main design cover. So what we have here now, we might want to change this to white, We might want to change this to white as well. And we have this color. I might want to change this as well to darker color as well, since we have this text box is white. So let's change this to this, and let's change the color to white. Not sure about that, but okay, let's leave it at white for now. All right, yeah. So obviously, depending on your own requirements, we can use any color depending on our brand, of course. So, but for now, this is a low fidelity wireframe. We are not using any color, but I'm just trying to keep it very simple to ensure that we only have white and and black color instead of using different types of shades. So we've done this now. So let's preview our project. Let's go back to our browser. Let's refresh from the splash screen. Slide, we say get started, and we are loaded onto the landing page. And on the landing page, we can see here we have our icon, we have username, we have password, we have, once we start typing, the int is gonna be removed. Once we do that, the int is gonna be removed as well. So we're just going to have that in place. So once we've done that, we've added username, password, login, forgot password. We've not added any link to it. Don't have an account. We have that, and then they can sign up with email or connect with Facebook. And we have, by signing up to our app, you agree to our terms of service. So we might just have to change the grammar here. So we can say, by signing up to our mobile app, you agree to our terms of service. So we have this, and we could maybe reduce this to 10, and we could preview it again. Just refresh this time, and we can see that the app looks decent, looks clean. If we want to add other fancy design, we could manipulate this page to make it look more appealing if we want. But I think a decent login screen with this information is perfect. So the next tutorial, what we're going to work on, the sign up screen. And once we work on the sign up screen, we will be able to now link everything together, and we will do a bit of conditional logic as well, which means we're going to tie this login into a username and password. So once the user enter their username and password, then they can log into the app home page. So I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. I took a little bit of time because I wasn't sure about the design, but yeah, as we go along, we will learn to like the application. I'm also even tempted to start changing stuff, but we just leave it as it is for now. If you have any question on how I've done this, and if you request the file, I can send it to you. And also don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and then I will see you in the next tutorial. Thank you very much for watching. Bye for now.